just wanted to check on my first potato plant, or my plants that I planted. It's my first red potato. Just checking. I'm gonna give them another week, and I'm planning on digging potatoes.
Got my boots on. I'm gonna see what I can get into. As you can see through here, it's a muddy mess. There's pools of water up ahead there. We've been getting these storms, like I said, every day for the past week and a half. So I haven't been able to really get out here and pull weeds like I should, because when I am able to get out here, I have to rush through everything because the storms are coming. And I want to get out of the garden before the storms hit. My main goal right now is to cut this okra. I want to keep it cut so it will keep producing. Like I said, this is the first time in several years that our okra is starting to produce like it used to. Some of the channels that I follow, I see the people get in their okra with sleeveless shirts on and shorts and cut the okra. I don't know how they do it, because okra is scratchy, and when you're hot and sweaty and you get that scratchy feeling to you, I'm just miserable. I always wear long sleeves, and I have a straw hat on. Right now I have my boots on because it's muddy. But I always wear long sleeves, long pants, just to protect myself from the scratchiness of the leaves from certain vegetables, and just to be protected. I just feel more comfortable when I have long sleeves on and long pants. There's nothing much I can do. Look how muddy my shoes are. I'm just sinking down in the mud. This is the tomato plant where I got the first red tomato last week. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but the leaves appear to be folding into themselves. I don't know if it's possibly too much rain, but I'm hoping that this plant will survive because it has nice big tomatoes on it. As you all can see, we've got a squash plant that has died, and we have another one on that far end over there that has died. But you all can see the muddy mess we have here. I see Jeffrey has put up our other anti-deer or animal device here. It has really worked. Nothing in the other half of the garden over here, nothing has gotten into it. Nothing has eaten the green beans or anything that we're used to. We have seen 2 groundhogs. So I think that's why he put this device up, because we saw them right underneath this shed here. And he has cages set for them too. But I'm pretty sure this is doing the job too. Thought I'd get out here this afternoon. It's the heat of the day actually, but it doesn't feel too bad out here right now. There's a nice breeze, and it's only gonna get hotter the rest of the day. So I thought I'd run on out here right now. This is the zucchini here. There's a few blooms on it, but it's on its way out. Still a little too muddy right now to really pull weeds and work in the garden like I want to. And you can see here how far my foot slipped down in the mud yesterday. But I'm gonna see what I can pick and get out of this heat. This is what I picked today. It's still kind of muddy out there, so I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to do. But those are the cucumbers. I think I'm gonna do one last run of pickles. And here's a few green beans, 2 zucchini. One of them is super big, so I'll obviously missed that one yesterday. I'm gonna make some zucchini bread, a few squash, and the green leafy stuff you see are greens. And okra, there's a big okra pod there, but I'll just save that for seeds. And there are a few Thai peppers at the bottom of that. There are also some eggplant, but I'm gonna let those get a little bigger, and also green peppers I'm gonna let get bigger. I was gonna pick some peas and shell them for Daddy, because the ones that I picked the other day and shelled, I have a bowl I cooked it last night. I'm gonna eat it tonight when I get home. And I tasted a spoonful before I put it in the refrigerator last night, and they taste so good. So I was gonna pick some more to cook, but it's just too hot out here, so I'm calling it a day for the garden. I'm out here this morning trying to see what I can get done. And you know what? This okra is just like cucumbers. You can think you've cut all the okra and you go back through and you see more and more pods. This is my 4th time going through, and I thought I went through it with a fine-tooth comb, and as I'm getting ready to walk out of this patch, I see more that I've missed. You gotta keep staring at it, and staring at it. Have a couple more tomatoes that are starting to turn. Thank goodness. I've only picked one so far this year, which is unusual. One red one, that is. This is all I harvested for today. There's a few okra pods in there. There's a large one, but as usual, I'll save that one for seeds. I only picked one cucumber. I didn't go through them with a fine-tooth comb because they're just not producing anyway. I picked some jalapenos that I'm gonna maybe make some pepper jelly with, or maybe I don't know what I'm gonna do with them just yet. And I have a handful of cherry tomatoes that I picked, and there are 2 big tomatoes that are starting to ripe. But I thought I'd come out here and look and see what I could do in the garden first before I go home and cut my grass, because it was just too wet this morning to cut the grass, but I'm pretty sure it's dry now. But this is all I got for today. There's a few eggplant I probably could have cut, but I think I'm gonna let them go one more day before I cut those. Even the poke salad's dying off. It's another hot, humid day here. No rain for today, supposedly, but you can see how the weeds have just taken over because of the rain. We've got a heat advisory out, warning actually, because with the heat index and humidity, it's going to be in triple digits. That's why I'm out here early. That's why I'm not going to fool with trying to pull weeds today. I'm going to get home and take care of my yard and look at my grapes and see how they're doing. To show you guys, I'm going to cook some cabbage. I'm going to stir fry some cabbage from the garden, squash and zucchini from the garden, also onions I'm going to use from the garden. But I wanted to show you this cabbage. We cut all the cabbage probably it's been over 3 weeks. I posted the video I think 3 weeks ago, but it's been a month since we cut up the cabbage. But I wrapped it in aluminum foil. I got this trick from another channel that I follow, True Grit, Appalachian Ways. And the lady on there recommended that when you cut your cabbage, if you're not ready to process it or cook it, wrap it in some aluminum foil, which is what I did. And it looks just as fresh as the day that I cut this cabbage. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up. I'm gonna stir fry it in some bacon grease. I've already made a video on how I cook the cabbage, how I do the squash and zucchini. I do have some okra that I'm gonna steam, but I'm just gonna put that in the microwave. It's frozen. I'm just gonna put it in the microwave with just a little hint of water and steam that. And then what else am I gonna do? Oh, and I'm gonna fry pork chops. I'm gonna take my uncle some food because he loves this cabbage and all that garden stuff. He's a country boy at heart. We haven't had a chance to dig up the potatoes yet. It has been so hot and humid here. It's triple digits. I'm getting a late start in the kitchen today. That's why I'm gonna quickly do this and then head out to the garden and see what I can harvest. I know it's not probably gonna be much. I probably won't pick green beans for another few days when I can get out there early in the morning. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff started. And I'm gonna season the cabbage with garlic, red pepper flakes, and salt, maybe a little black or red pepper, ground red pepper that is. I am really surprised how well this cabbage has held up. Now, I did have to cut a few small areas, but considering that this cabbage has been put up for a month, the aluminum foil trick does work. I've got the onions heating up in a little bacon fat. And then I'm gonna get this cabbage in there. I don't really know what I'm gonna do in the garden today. Because like I said, it is so hot, and I'm sure it's hot where you guys are too. This time of the year, the kitchen is usually a mess from getting things out of the garden, but as I've stated in other videos, things are coming in slowly. I'm basically doing the cabbage things now to make room for other things in my refrigerator. And as I'm sure you all know, it may look like you have a lot of cabbage, but once you start cooking it, it shrinks. So I did make the sauerkraut following Celebrating Appalachia's recipe, and it did take 24 or 21 days for mine to process, but it's not bad. I went ahead and canned it in a water bath for 10 minutes before I put it away, and then I'll use it later on and I'll show you guys, but it had a good taste. And just like with the cabbage, I'm going to stir fry the squash and zucchini in bacon fat. Saute my onions first and get those in the skillet. We still need to pull up the onions from the garden. I don't know if I'm going to get to that today or not. Jeffrey told me try to, but I don't know. If I don't get to it today, I'll definitely do it tomorrow. And I'm going to season these once again the same as the cabbage. Garlic powder, salt and pepper. Season to taste. Mama always taught me to season in layers. I'm going to get this stuff in. Now when I get my cabbage like this and it's cooked down a little bit, I'll put a lid on it and let it sweat a little bit, and then I'll take the lid off and cook it without the lid. And then I have my squash and zucchini cooking here. Once I get my vegetables in the skillet with the bacon fat, I like to coat the vegetables in the bacon fat, make sure all the oil is on it before I really start letting it cook really good. And that's what I've done with the cabbage. I've got the lid on the cabbage to make it sweat a little bit. I've coated the squash and zucchini. I'm gonna let that cook a little bit, then I'll put a lid on it, let it sweat. Then I'll take the lid off and let the liquid evaporate. I forgot to tell you guys, I made this blueberry dessert. There are fresh blueberries. I got this recipe from True Grit Appalachian Ways. It's half a brick of cream cheese, half a tub of Cool Whip. You mix that together and you put a cup of powdered sugar, and that's going to be your white mixture there. I took a package of graham crackers and a little butter, made my crust, and then the top is nothing but 2 cups of blueberries, half a cup of sugar, half a cup of water, and cornstarch. I didn't have any cornstarch, I had to use flour. And you know when you use flour, you have to double it because cornstarch makes it a little thicker. So, and this has been in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and get the meat cooked, take to my uncle, and get in the garden. And when I get back home, I'll be able to try my dessert. Food is done. I'm gonna wrap up his pork chops. That's his cabbage, squash and zucchini, and his okra. I just dropped the food off. I'm out here today. I didn't make it out here yesterday. I let Jeffrey handle it. He said he picked a few things, but I'm gonna see what I can do today. Look at this. We've got landscaping fabric and the weeds are pushing through the landscaping fabric. How that can be, I don't know, because it's not getting any sun. But look how those eggplant, let's see here, are really coming along. But look how the weeds have just taken over. Where you see all those weeds through there, that's onions. We're gonna have to get those pulled up. As you can see, the weeds have taken over where the cucumbers were, as well as green beans. This row and that next row and that third row that's a little taller there. First two are green beans, the other ones are black-eyed peas. We made the mistake of not staking or putting a trellis for the black-eyed peas because they're running and they're mixed all in with the weeds, so I don't know how we're gonna pick some of it, but as you can see, some of it is already starting to turn brown, the pods. Something keeps getting into these green tomatoes, taking one bite and just throwing them on the ground. I had a cousin, Larry Dale, God rest his soul. He always said, plant enough for you and the animals. But it seems as of late, the animals just are going a little overboard. This is what I picked today. I got 2 tomatoes. I picked some green beans. I dropped, that tomato wasn't busted. I dropped it and it burst open. Not much, but something's better than nothing.